So today I chose one of the sutta called Ittha Sutta. It is the discourse on wish. So the topic is wish. So wish, we all have wishes, different kind of wishes. We all wish always. So this sutra is from the numerical discourses from the book of 5 in the numerical 5th group. So then the householder Anathapindika will read out the sutra and then we will try to understand. Then the householder Anathapindika approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him. So this householder, this particular person named Anathapindika, he was the foremost supporter of Buddha, who built Jetavana Vihara for the monks and for, of course, general, like this kind of place. Vihara is a place, spiritual place. And he comes to Buddha, and then Buddha tells him, householder, there are these 5 things that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. What 5? Long life, householder, is wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. Beauty, happiness, fame, the heavens. So these are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. These are the 5 things that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. So 5 wishes we all have. That is, the first one is long life, Ayu, Vanna, beauty, Sukha, happiness, and Bala, but here it is not Bala, Yasa, which is good name, good fame. And finally, after death, heaven. So after death, we don't want to go to hell, we want to go to heaven. So we have a wish in this life as well as for the next life as well. So our wish stays now and continues till the next life. It is always there. So this is a reality, right? We all have this wish. This wish is something that we cannot deny. Nobody can say that I don't have any wish. Everybody has some wish, because we are still part of this samsara, which is called sankhara. Actually, there is another word called sankhara. Sankhara means conditioned world. This world is conditioned, which means that everything is conditioned, and including wish. So we are not free from wishes. So when we achieve nibbana, the unconditioned state, then we are free from wish. Till then, whether you call it worldly wish or spiritual wish or bad wish, good wish, whatever wish you call, we are somewhere in some kind of wishes, whether it is material or mental or, even spiritual as well, social or whatever kind of wish we have. Because our mind is still part of the samsara, as I mentioned. So till our mind becomes supramundane, which is beyond the mundane existence, our mind will always have the wish. So since our mind has that wish, it comes in different form. So we wish, first of all, long life. We don't want to die, right? Even if you ask some very old people, if you ask them, do you want to die? No, I don't want, right? Though they may be suffering, they may be, please come and sit, please sit. Yeah. So we, somebody may be suffering, somebody may be very old, but still we don't want to die. I don't know, even in these days we hear about some people, they, when they are into bedridden and some acute pain, then they wish for some sort of voluntary death, but that is in the some rare case, I would say. Even when we think of committing suicide, some people, they're committing suicide with a desire that after death they will have something better life, you know, because so and the irony is that even if you don't want a next life, you still have to be born till you achieve, till you are free from, till you achieve, freedom. You are part of the world. As I mentioned in the beginning also, even if you don't want to wish, still the wish wants you. You know, you don't want to wish, but the wish wants you. You know, that's the reason sometimes why we get caught in bad wishes, bad desire, bad habit. Let's say alcoholic or any other. Alcoholic is a of course rare case, like extreme cases, but even in our day-to-day, some of the habits that are harmful to us, we know, but still we go there. Our mind still goes to that particular object, So we are part of that wish. So long life is one of that. And of course, there is some benefit of long life as well, right? If you live well, if you maintain your health, and you have a good life, you have earn good money, and you have good people around, you have grandsons, let's say later, initially son, then grandson, then you want to see great grandson, right? And so this, I mean, it's good, right? Like if you have a, you can do more good. You can, even in old age, if you are working for your growth, in the sense spiritual growth, or what I can say, developing your potential, or in other words, working for your happiness, more and more happiness, then that can continue even in the old age as well. If you start now to live a happy kind of life, then you can take it all the way till old age, and even old age time as well. You will be happier. You can be even more happier as well. So I saw. I observed our Guruji when he was 90. He passed away at the age of 92. Toward the end of his life, maybe 4 years, he was even much more happier, right? Because maybe he knew that his life is coming to an end, and he led a good life. So there are people around him, of course his disciple, all are there, things are going on. So he has developed his mind over the period of his lifetime, or his lifetime. So he was very much pleasant and happy toward the end of his life, right? So it's good to live long life, because the human life, as Buddha said, is very rare. You gain the human life very rarely, so with a lot of difficulty. You see, even in our human life, to achieve something, how much we work, right? How much we work hard, how much we have to do, a lot to achieve something. Then what to talk of even to gain birth as human life? It's very rare, very difficult. Why it is difficult? Because the factor that pulls you down is very strong. Why we are born in a lower world? Because of the lower mind. The lower mind pulls us down and down. So it's very difficult to gain as human life. So I think that is one of the reasons why we should live long as well. But we should not just live long, but we should live long and for a purpose, right? For a purpose that is to develop more and more happiness, and when I say more and more happiness, it means that you develop your mind more and more, more and more, more and more. And as a result of your developed mind, your happiness increases more and more. But today, people are increasing bank balance more and more. Okay. But you might have seen, some of your people, relatives or friends or family members, they're increasing bank balance, but with the increase of bank balance, there is the decrease of happiness. There, or in other words, increase of stress, more tension, diseases. Why? Because they haven't simultaneously developed their mind. Their mind should also simultaneously develop with the development of your bank balance or your wealth. Buddha is in many places, you must earn money, you must work hard, earn money. But with that, we have to also develop our mind as well to to gain more happiness. So in that way, long life is a blessing. If you really work, because our teacher till the age of 92, he was very active. And, he was maintaining his health, though there was some health issue, but he was still dealing with it in a very proper way, in a very dignified way, and in a way that didn't much affect his day-to-day life. Then, so Buddha is saying it is why this long life is wished for and desired. Everybody desires to live long and agreeable. It is very agreeable, pleasant. You see, when you achieve the age of say 50 or 30 or say 50 or 45 or whatever, we celebrate, right? If it is 50, oh, now I am 50, so you feel joyful that I am 50, I'm still there, things like that. So you really like that, right? And rarely gain in the world. It is very difficult to gain in the world. So long life is something also quite difficult in the world. That's what Buddha is saying. Then long life, and then beauty. So now here beauty, let's say in the present life, beauty means that you have a pleasant sort of face, which means that your mind is pleasant, right? Because when your mind is pleasant, you look pleasant. Beauty is not just about the physical. It is, though of course, if you have a pleasant mind, they say that it has some impact on your physical appearance as well. But when you have a pleasant mind, then you will be more and more, your face will change. It is like, say, if you are not happy, if you are not peaceful, then your face will be very much like this, always like this or like this, or it's a very, the face is not so calm, right? It is, then you don't look good, right? If you, whether you have combed nicely or you have did makeup or whatever, but still you won't look good, right? But if you have a pleasant mind, which will reflect in your face, and you will be happier, like you look more attractive, you look more beautiful, right? You look more sort of pleasant. So this is something that very difficult to come. Then happiness, and then fame. So now fame is also one of the difficult thing to come. And fame here means that you don't really work for fame, in a way, but you live your life in such a way that people spread good reputation about you, So which is kind of good, because that helps you, navigate through your life easily. If you have a good reputation, everybody will trust you, and whatever you want to do in your life, there will be support from people, because they say, if he is doing, okay, let me support, let me help, let me do this, do that. So you really need to have good reputation, not just for this, not in a sense of negative sense, but in a positive sense, right? So if you don't have a good reputation, then sometimes it becomes difficult, right, to work, right, to whatever, whether it is job, whether it is a business, whether it is family matter. So you really need to, I think, sometime you need to sort of tell about your goodness to people as well, because um, again this telling your goodness to people, you tell with the intention that they will rejoice. You tell the people who rejoice in your act, to those people with whom you share the good news, or your good success, or your quality, then they rejoice in you, right? And it is good for them as well, because they get a chance to develop mudita, which is altruistic joy, which is this one of the very powerful quality. We should rejoice in others' goodness. We should not. That is the opposite of jealousy. So we should rejoice in others' goodness. Sometimes it is difficult, especially when you don't like somebody. Because when you don't like somebody, whatever good they do, you just feel bad anyway, right? But this comes from this disliking, state of mind. So we really have to develop this one, wishing other happiness, others sort of rejoicing in others' happiness, and then finally heaven. So, okay, so what Buddha is saying is that, householder, the noble disciple who desires long life ought not to pray for long life, or delight in it, or passively yearn for it. A noble disciple who desires long life should practice the way conducive to long life. For when he practices the way conducive to long life, it leads to obtaining long life, and he gains long life, either celestial or human. So the whole point here is that all these things, if you just pray, you are not going to gain it. That's what Buddha is saying. You see, ought not to pray for long life, or delight in it, or passively yearn it. You maybe just pray, by praying it will happen, or it will just come to me. If you take for granted, it will come to me, or you just, I prayed, so I will get it. So Buddha is saying you have to work for it. You have to practice the way to conducive to long life. So now, how do you create long life? Some of us are so much into this thing that saying, how long I'm going to live, that is decided already by somebody. So why should I? Why are you drinking? It will eventually impact your life. You will die soon. They say, if I have to die, I will die. So it is not in my hand. That's a very wrong view. So you have to work. Of course, there is a past karmic influence also on your on your longevity, on your lifespan, but you can even now work for it. Of course, physically, you must every day work out, exercise, whatever, go to gym or whatever. That is one of the things. Sleep well, because I see many youngsters, they don't sleep well, like just 4 or 5 hours. But you really need to have maybe 8-hour proper night sleep, and eat healthy, do every day, and that too on a daily basis. Today you do, tomorrow you don't do, then you fall. It's not good. It should become, this positive habit should become part of your life, that without doing that, you feel you feel something missing. To that extent, you must You must develop these qualities, positive qualities. So that will, of course, physically, but then mentally, you have to make sure that your mind is calm. You have to meditate every day, maybe half an hour, breath meditation or Maitri meditation. That will also add to your longevity. According to Buddha, a lot of our life is, of course, product of our past life, but everything is not already decided. You know, the present is in our hand. While we are working for our present life, there will be influence of past life, but if you are in the present life, if you are working in a good way, then the good karma will help you. If you are working in a bad way, the bad karma will come and come to you. So you are attracting your own karma as well as the current the surroundings, whether it is people or whether it is some invisible being also. So there is so much in the present. Present is the reality. Present is the power. Present is the powerful. It is the main. It is the most important. And it is where we can do everything. It is here that we can do everything. We can solve some of the past problem. We can create a good future. So everything is in the present. So that's why Buddha is saying, just praying, it will not happen. You have to work for your long life. And you should, of course, work for your long life, because you got this human life with so much of difficulty. It is not easy to gain human life easily. Okay, so that's what Buddha is saying. In the same way, for happiness also you have to work. So for happiness, how you work. In one place, Buddha, of course, in lot of discourses on happiness. And right now, what comes in my mind is that in one place, Buddha said that Susukang vata jivama ussukesu anussuka ussukesu manussesu viharama anussuka, which is like, or in another word, verinesu averinu, like among the people who are envious, sukha means envious, jealousy, we will not be jealous. Among the people who are hateful, we will not be hateful. So you might say that surrounding is like this, or you might say family is like this, you might say society is like this, but no. You are also part of the family, you are part of the society. So if you really want something good, you have to change yourself despite being in the midst of the particular situation, which is difficult. Because if you don't do, you will not benefit, and also the community will not benefit. If you do, you will be benefited, then community also will be eventually benefited sooner or later, today or tomorrow. So that's why we should not, please don't blame karma, don't blame God, don't blame people, don't blame society, don't blame yourself. Just don't blame. Just do, just work for betterment of your mind, So that is with regard to one happiness. That's how you can work. And then Buddha in one place said, of course, Atti Sukha, Bhoga Sukha, Ananya Sukha, Anavajja Sukha. So in one place he says, Atti Sukha, the happiness of having, the happiness of having. So you should have things, you should have, like wealth. Now as a youngster especially, you must work hard, you must earn. There's no problem in earning, but as long as you work in a rightful way, in a legal way, in a proper way, if you work, fine, totally fine, earn more, then you have the happiness of having, I have sufficient, no tension, no. Otherwise, there is this joke, no? मुझे कल की चिंता नहीं है, मेरे फटे पड़े हैं परसों को लेके. There is one joke that comes. So he says, I don't care, I don't worry about tomorrow, but I have everything for tomorrow, but I'm worried about day after tomorrow. First of all, he says, I don't have for tomorrow, as if tomorrow means like a long time, but then he says, no, day after tomorrow. So that is sometimes situation of our life, So we have to really plan our financial this thing, and we should work for our financial stability. Very important. So finance, money, as somebody say, money may not be most important. Money may not be the only source of happiness, but money is important. Money makes difference in our life. So we have to make money all the more, but not in a wrong way. And after earning, you spend it for your own good, for your family, for others, friends and relatives and religious people, according to your own capacity. So that is one happiness, ati sukha, bhoga sukha, and enjoying. So whatever you earn, you enjoy. Now, enjoy here means not like a extreme form of enjoyment, very, very rustic and very, very sort of unwholesome or very extreme form of enjoyment, but enjoy in a moderate, in a wholesome way, as much as possible, not crossing certain boundary. So as long as you don't cross, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So that is another ati sukha, then bhoga sukha, then ananya sukha, the happiness of debtless. Debtless. So if you have debt, loan, it's a big headache. So everybody will just call you and all these things. So of course you should be debt free as much as possible. Even if you're taking debt, so you should make sure that you are not. It is not going to totally destroy you. But within certain capacity, you have to calculate everything and see that it doesn't become a big trouble for you. But even whenever you take debt, so you can take debt, but you have to calculate that it is properly taken care in case of, because sometimes you see some of our business, very popular business people, they take loan more and more than they can, and they can't even repay back, and then they have to leave the country. So that is of the celebrity level, but in our own life, we have to, so that we are free, we don't owe any, nobody will come in, because the person can come anytime and disturb you, right? If you take very, very a loan that is unreasonably you have done, or without any proper planning. So that is anavajja, and then anavajja, finally is blamelessness. So if you have no blame, you are happy. Otherwise, you go here, people say something, you go there, so at least you don't yourself do anything that will be blamable. But despite your goodness, sometimes the blame will be there. That is something you can't avoid. But from your own end, you make sure that you don't do something that creates blame, that brings blame to yourself. So if you have no blame, that is also happiness. You can freely go everywhere. You can confidently go everywhere, because you have done nothing wrong. You are totally stable, happy. So these are the happiness. Then fame. Fame, how you will work. Of course, you will work by, in the today, before this program, there was one more program where I was telling them about the generosity, because they were offering robe to the monk. So there Buddha said that one of the immediate benefit of giving is good fame, which means that if you give, now giving can be in different form, like giving, like say giving time, giving money, giving kind word, giving company, so many way of giving, right? So let's say that, let's take the example of job, because this day job is a very seems like the most important thing in the world, you know, more important than God or dharma, God, job has become the God these days, So that's why I always speak of a job. So when you join your job, if you really put your effort, use your skill, and talk to people, take their suggestion, take their advice, use your own skill, and work hard and work well, then you create a good reputation of yourself, which is very important. I mean, that way you create a good reputation. That is one of the way of creating good reputation. And of course, that will have its own help. You will have promotion, as I already mentioned. In the same way, in your own family, in your parent, so you also do something that creates good name of you, right? So you help your mother or father, whenever they need, or sometimes even if they don't ask for help, but you give help, so that way you have a good reputation in your home. You have a respect in your home, right? You should have respect, because sometimes we just take our family for granted, we don't care and everything. But that is something we need to work on, in family, in your job, and uh, and many, wherever, in whatever field you are in, you have a good name. So now suppose you come here every Sunday, or you visit here. So if you behave well, if you talk well, if you do well, so you will have a good reputation here. Oh, this person is good, this person. So all the people here, they will have some love toward you, some sort of respect toward you, that he is a good person, he doesn't make any trouble. Right? So anywhere you have to have your impression. You should work for your good impression. So you go somewhere and then you create a mess, then you expect that people respect you. That's not possible. You can't demand respect. You have to work for respect. You have to gain your respect, which is important also. Respect is also in the positive sense. You're not trying to boost yourself, but you are doing that in order to have love between people, and that love, brings peace, happiness. That's what we all want. At the end of the day, we want happiness. We have to work for happiness. We have to wish for happiness. So you work for fame, and the heaven will come if all these four things are taken care. Surely you will have heaven. But Buddha says that if there is no heaven, after death there is no life, also good. But if there is heaven, then you will be born in heaven, if there is rebirth. But Buddha says there is, but if some people are not, they don't much believe in that, then it's still fine. You will, whether it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, but if you live a good life now, you will have a good life anyway. So in any case, you don't need to worry about next life anyway. Whether next life is there or not there, in both the cases, you don't need to worry. If no next life, the question is done. If there is next life, you lead a good life now. As simple as that. And if you live a good life now you are happy anyway. So you want happiness. So what we all want is happiness. Many people, they ask, what is the purpose of life? I said, happiness. Happiness is what that we all want. We all want. Even people who do wrong, they are doing because they are also thinking that that is the way of happiness. They are doing out of happiness, with the expectation of happiness only. Even bad people, wrong people, corrupt people, all kinds of people, every single, even animals, any beings, everybody wants happiness. Only thing we all want is happiness. Whether you are doing through spiritual, through this, through that. So everything ultimately boils down to happiness, comes down to happiness. And if you are not happy, so now this happiness, of course, is something that you need to derive from your day-to-day life, not just praying, as Buddha very clearly said here. If you pray, it's okay. Prayer is one of the happiness. You just feel that God, Buddha is there, God, or if you believe in God, God is there, or Buddha is there, and you sort of get that spiritual support. Good. But that alone is not going to help. That's Buddha clearly saying that you have to make sure that your life becomes such that from there you gain happiness. Your job, you get happiness. But again, it will not just come immediately. First day you go to the office and you just expect happiness. It's not going to happen. There are some difficulty. But despite all the difficulty, you have to make sure, and you have to work, you have to understand, you have to think, you have to reflect, you have to analyze, you have to investigate, you have to figure out how to be happy in the midst of all the difficulty. But of course, there may be certain cases where the situation is extremely toxic, that we can't do anything. That's the only solution, is just come out, come out from that situation. But as long as the situation is not extremely toxic, we have to bear some of the difficulty. We have to bear some of the challenges. We have to bear, and not just bear, but make yourself stronger in that by figuring out how to do, in that situation. And so sometimes the situation really may not be difficult, but your mind is the difficult sometimes, right? Sometimes the situation may not be actually difficult, but your mind creates that difficulty, Okay, so then Buddha summarizes in the form of a sloka. So I read out that and we conclude. For one desiring long life, beauty, fame, acclaim, heaven, high families, and lofty delight, following in succession the wise praises heedfulness in doing deeds of merit. Being heedful, the wise person secures both kinds of good, the good in this life and the good of the future life. By attaining the good, the steadfast one is called one of wisdom. Okay, so you have to be heedful. Heedful means mindful. You have to be mindful of everything. And so just make it clear that just understand, and Buddha has made it very clear that our ultimate purpose in life is happiness, and this happiness, when we say ultimate, that is there is the ultimate happiness which we call nibbana or nirvana, but that nirvanic experience should happen from now itself, in a bit by bit. The more you work toward nirvana, understand nirvana and work toward that, the more your happiness increases. So as they say, happiness is the state of mind. It comes from the mind, not only from outside. Outside has a limited capacity to make you happy. It is one of the conditioning factor, but the main is inside your mind. So you have to grow yourself, develop yourself, and then you will be happier and happier and happier. And that happiness multiplies. Just like unhappiness multiplies, happiness will also multiply. And multiply, and more happier you become, your surrounding becomes much better and better. Your situation becomes much better and better. You come in contact with good people, right people, great people, wise people, beautiful people, wonderful people, nice people. And then you grow more and more and more and more. And then, of course, you always have spiritual support along, in the sense that spirituality is again in the mind, right? So this spiritual support teaching is helping you to guide your life, and together with progress in your worldly life, family life, job life, whatever other life, social life, you are also growing spiritually simultaneously. You cannot separate them. Then you have finally achieved the ultimate bliss, which we call nirvana, where your mind is totally happy, and it is permanent. From when you achieve that state of mind, your mind undergoes complete transformation, irreversible transformation. From there, your mind will never come back to this lower kind of mind. It will just be completely transformed in an irreversible, like it is impossible to come back, like Buddha. At one point, Buddha was also like us. He also had negative everything, but he worked for many, many millions of lives, and then finally became Buddha. and then he showed us the path. He didn't just become Buddha in one lifetime. It took him millions of lives. Then he figured out, and then he taught us. And once he became Buddha, enlightened, it is not possible for him to again fall back. So we have to work for that ultimate thing. Otherwise, we are in this loop, birth and death, birth and death, birth and death, unending life and birth, life and birth. So, so that's how it is. And with this understanding, all of you try to design your life in such a way that you gain more and more happiness. So with this, I conclude my few words. I wish all of you good health, happiness, peace, joy, and success, and prosperity, and progress on the path of Dharma, and achieve the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we now wish for the happiness of all the beings. Sukhe bhaveyang nidukho ahang nichang ahang viya hita me sukhe honto majjata jata verino imam hi gamang ketam he Tata honto sukhe sada tato parancarajyeso chakkavale sujantano sadhu sadhu sadhu.